I'm Angelo Moratti. This is 10 Minutes to Inspire. KR, welcome to Italy. Welcome to Tech Emotion video podcast, 10 Minutes to Inspire. It's great to have you here. And let's start a nice conversation. So earlier on in your life, during your career, you were studying space technologies. And then all of a sudden you became an entrepreneur. I mean, it's a big quantum leap. Tell me a little bit about that transition as a mindset.
Angelo, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a great event, Tech Emotion. So thank you for having me here. So my story, look, I came to the US from India, just carrying a suitcase and a few $100s in my pocket. Pre-Google days when you didn't even know what the country was and what to expect, right? What brought me there? I came to study nuclear fusion to create, energy abundance. But I saw that that's a little farther away. So I went back to my original passion of mechanical engineering and space science, and I did Mars missions. What was the idea there? We as humankind are still living in the cradle, in the crib. One day we will go to other places. And when we go there, we need to learn how to live off that land sustainably. So I was studying sustainable technologies of producing oxygen, water, electricity, heat on Mars. And then when you saw 50 million people every year coming out of abject poverty to middle class, wanting the same things that we all want, I realized if we don't find more cleaner ways to do these things, this single pale blue dot called the Earth will not sustain 10 billion people. So I decided to quit my tenured faculty position. I decided to give up my advisor to the NASA administrator and start a company, not because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but because of the mission to make abundant energy available for everybody on the planet without the false compromise of either you have energy or it's not affordable or it's not clean. Why not and, the genius of and? That's what I wanted to create. That was the mission of the company.
And when you started, was there ever a point in which you kind of doubted your ability to be an entrepreneur and maybe sometimes be tough with people or take decisions that were too risky? How do you develop the balance? Because a great entrepreneur is to do with balance in the end.
So two things there, right? Our good friend John Doerr was my early investor. And he asked me, would I want to be just a CTO because I brought the technology? Or would I want to be a CEO? I said, to start with, it's a technology company. Let me be the CEO. And every day, every year, we'll figure it out. The moment I am the impediment to the growth of the company, I wouldn't want to be the CEO because the mission is bigger. And I didn't know whether I would like being a CEO. But as time went on, I enjoyed that as much as I enjoy the technology. And here I am, I just continue to be. And the question on taking risks, this is the big mistake or misunderstanding people have about entrepreneurs. The risk I took was in the very early days of believing energy should go from being centralized to distributed in the future. Energy should become more abundant. And there's a way to make affordable, clean, all that work together. That was a leap of thinking. I kind of went up the mountain and saw what was on the other side, and that's the world I wanted to build. Once you make that big leap, on your execution side, you have a plan A, B, C, D, E. So you never fail. Failure is not an option. You give everything you got because that mission is so much bigger. You don't take those kind of risks. But on technology risks, you're willing to shoot for the fences. But you always have plan A, B, C, D. Failure is not failure. Failure is just a stumbling down. It's about the getting up. It's not about the falling down. It's about the getting up and keep going.
How was your interaction with John Doerr? I mean, every venture capitalist like me would love to spend some time with John and learn his skills, his mindset, his abilities, his courage. I mean, was there anything special about him that you can recall during those very delicate times?
Yes, the humility the man has after having accomplished so much in so many fields, where he never pretends to know more than you do on your technical subject matter. He never pushes you in a particular direction, but you respect him as a human being who has seen so many patterns. So, what he brings to the table every single day is pattern recognition. I have seen at this stage of a company, these are the kind of issues you will deal with. If you need help, here are the advisors I can bring to bear. And if any particular crisis comes along, I've seen a page in so many other companies where I've watched the crisis unfold. Here's a right way to do it, here's a wrong way to do it. It's up to you, but let me offer that to you and offer people that can help you with it. For example, we talked about the Andy Grove story a little while ago. He was the one who suggested, shall we bring Andy Grove in? Andy and I became really good friends till Andy died because of that. That's a good example of somebody. But I've had the fortune of having tremendous mentors. As you know, General Colin Powell was on my board till he died. He served on Bloom's board for 15 years. At least 2 times a week, he and I spoke. He adopted me like a son. And I have to pinch myself as an immigrant coming from India to the United States to have that kind of caliber of people mentoring you, advising you. And how fortunate.
And I think the reason why you've had those incredible figures as mentors has led you to be not at the head of an industry, but at the head of a movement. I mean, people like you, Al Gore, John Doerr, and a few others became the founders of this great movement that will actually, make Earth sustainable.
Yes.
And you were the first ones to do it, to believe in it. And it wasn't easy back then. And I'm sure you've had a lot of enemies. A lot of people tried to stop you. How far from the journey are we?
So the transition itself for the world is not going very well. That's the truth. But I'm an optimist. I'm not going to leave you with a negative message. I believe we will solve this problem and future generations will look back and say, thank God for the climate crisis, that we had to think differently about energy. I always joke to people, we didn't leave the Stone Age because we ran out of stones. We're not going to stop using fossil fuels because we ran out of fossil fuels, because there was something better that came along. Okay? And that better was more affordable, more reliable, more sustainable, and most important, extremely abundant. Because think about this. Energy in science is defined as the capacity to do work. More energy, more work happens. What is work? Economic output. So abundance of energy is going to, for the first time in human history, create abundance of wealth for everybody. Our future generations are going to be a lot better off because of that. And this climate crisis was what forced us in a timely fashion to give up those other habits and get to these habits. So I think we're going to look back and be very, very happy about what happened. But the transition, like everything else, is going to be painful.
You think the awareness of this transition, do you think is clearly understood now all over the world, or there's still a lot of cultural work to do?
I think the climate crisis is understood. Unfortunately, a significant fraction of the younger generation see this only as a crisis and not an opportunity. It is, rather than them protest about it, I would love them to go learn science and technology and engineering and business building and community building and find solutions, because it is also the biggest opportunity, economic opportunity for everybody. So I want more people, the education, I believe, should happen more about, it's not doomsday, it is about the biggest opportunity. And yes, we're going to go through a little bit of a rough spot, but we as human beings are resilient, we are strong. We are going to get to that other side, which is going to look so much more beautiful. And I truly believe that.
Well, on this great motivational answer, we end our video podcast. Thank you so much, KR, for being here. We love to have you more during Tech Emotion. It's 10 minutes to expire. Thank you so much.
And I just want to thank you for being an inspiration to all the people and being the motivator, the catalyst that makes this happen. Angelo, you're a great friend. Thank you.
Grazie.
Grazie.